Hi, today I was sewing on Greet's dress, and I thought that as I was sewing, some of you may like to see a little video of how to pipe a seam. It's something very, very simple and very elegant, and I do not really understand why more people don't pipe their seams. In early construction, 1830s, 1820s, even up to the 50s and 60s, a lot of the seams were piped. It's for decorative purposes as well. It gives a lot of stability to the seam, makes them a lot stronger and less able to rip out. So this is Greet's bodice here of her dress, and I've already done the center seam here and piped it. For this I have laid it with an early 1850s glazed cotton, wonderful glazed cotton lining here. But to make the piping is very, very simple. Let me put this down here. I thought I had this once so that I could use my fingers. It's very simple to make a piping. So first off, you want to take a strip of fabric, and you want it to be the length, like I'm doing the side seam here. You want it to be the length. Let me move this up here, sorry. The length that you're doing, and to get the width of your piping is basically the seam allowance doubled. I normally use rather narrow seam allowance because I don't like all the bulk. So that's why my strip's kind of narrow. If you're using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, just double it and cut your strip 1/2 inch. So once you have your strip, I'm just using cotton string here. The size of your string is, of course, how big your piping is going to be. So just use according. And what I do is I just lay the string onto the strip right down the middle, and then I just kind of cradle it in my fingers, kind of pinch it over directly in half, like so. Then you're going to take a needle, your needle and thread, and as I'm holding it here, I just push it down, keep it pushed down with my fingers, and then I just take a stitch right through. I'd help if I knotted my string here, but I just take a stitch right through kind of a little bit of the piping as well, so that if it gets a little bit, it comes out, you can pull on it and it won't just pull out. Now it is important to keep this directly in half, so you don't have a little bit of fabric here and a whole bunch sticking out there. You want to keep it directly in half, and then I just take and stitch with a little running stitch all the way down. And when you're done, here's what you're going to have. Your piping at one end. Now to pipe a seam is very simple. You want to make sure that you have your piping part towards the body of your piece that you're working on. If you put it in here, then it's going to end up being in your seam allowance. So always make sure that it's towards the body of the fabric, and then we take our other piece here, I have it already lined out here, and we just make like a big sandwich, place it down. You can put a few pins in here to baste it, keep everything nice and tight, and then all I do, I just basically eyeball my seam allowance. You want to make and sew right up to the bump where you feel the piping. It'll be very simple because you can really feel the bump of the piping in there. So as you're sewing, you just keep your needle straight up towards as close to the piping as you can get. Then once you have that stitched, you just turn it right side out like I have here, and what I do is I just press everything open half to the side, so I have my lining, then I have my body fabric, and then right here, if you can see it, I have the piping seam allowance as well. And I just press it all open, then whip stitch the edges, and it gives you a very nice, strong, durable seam. So I hope you go and pipe some seams.